And welcome to Let's Play Minecraft. Now, before I begin today, I just want to show you the little map because I kind of take a little shortcut from where I left off last time on that mountain, and I head basically straight south and a little bit east into that mesa biome that you see on the map there with the yellow X. So that's where we find ourselves right here. And basically, I was just kind of exploring, but I turned the camera off, and yeah, anyway, I found this and it's really cool, so I decided to record a little bit of it. Basically, because of the ubiquity of certain resources in most vanilla biomes, including wood types, you really only need to visit like 2 or 3 biomes to have most of the blocks in the game. And that would mean basically a jungle, maybe a plains or a forest, and maybe a little bit of variation in the forest there to get a couple more trees, but really it's pretty, you can find pretty much all the animals and all the plant types there and all that. The mesa uniquely adds so many different blocks, and basically in the form of stained, colored clay. Now you can of course craft a lot of these colored clay blocks here, but it's just so much easier to mine them processed form like this. So that's what makes mesa biomes really cool, and it's certainly the overwhelming use for them, at least among most of the Let's Play series that I've seen, is that most players will just go ahead and mine the shit out of them and take all the blocks back to their base and use them for construction. And I'm not going to stray from that too much here. I'm going to take quite a few of them right now. But anyway, I'm not going to show you all of my clay mining because that would get a little bit boring. So I'm just going to show you a little taste of it, and then we'll move on to some other things. So for today's goals, and I was thinking about this while I was editing the video before I did the audio here. My my entire goal system, really, it's kind of a joke because I basically have to edit the video together, and so in order to do that I have to watch pretty much all of it, and then I record the audio, and it's just, it's not a very good way to do things. The only thing I do get to add is the occasional clip or picture that I wouldn't necessarily think to add if I wasn't doing it this way or whatever. In other words, I can do a lot more post-video editing if I don't record the audio at the same time, because then I can edit the video quite a bit more while not having to clip the audio. Basically what happens is if I wanted to do a lot more editing of the video, if I did the audio at the same time, I would have to go ahead and make the video with the audio included, turn it into a single video, and then I'd have to edit it again once the audio was in there and cut the tracks and stuff, and then add maybe some audio to explain my little cuts or whatever, and that would just be a whole process. So it's a lot easier to do it if you have the raw video and you make the audio separately. But then again, it takes a lot longer and it's a lot more work, and you don't get the spontaneous commentary that a lot of people like. So I'm thinking about switching it up a little bit in that regard. It's a little bit of a tangent that I'm going on here, but anyway, I went ahead and did some caving that I found here in this area. Nearly lost that diamond there. And I found some diamonds, as you can see, so I'm going to go ahead and grab them. Looks like only just 2 in that vein, unfortunately, but I'll just poke around here and see, I guess. But as I was saying earlier, it's kind of a joke to even have goals, because if I watch the video, I get on so many tangents, don't I? But if I watch the video prior to editing or during the editing process before I do the audio, then obviously when I come back to do the audio and pick my goals, I already know what I'm going to do in the video. So it's not like I'm actually accomplishing the goals, but rather, rather I'm crafting goals to fit what I know I've already done in the video. So in any event, I guess we'll still do it just for the sake of argument. It's almost like a funny little gimmick now because it's fake, but my goals for this episode will be to create two more animal pens, and then I will also explore mesa biome, Okay, I've already done that, so done. And I'm trying to think what else. Let's make a goal today to explore and find either a water temple, a desert temple, a jungle temple, an abandoned mine shaft, or an ender dungeon. Let's make that the goal for today. Okay, so we've already explored the maze, so we just finished creating the chicken pen there. So let's go ahead and create the sheep pen. Let's grab some of these guys. Bah. There we go. Sheep, of course, we've been blessed with quite a few sheep, including a black sheep, I believe, on our little starting area here. Quite a few of them. And we've already harvested their wool a few times, but now we're going to have a cage. Once we start breeding them, we can start killing them too, which will not only give us wool, but will also give us mutton, which is the new meat that was added in 1.8 for sheep. So let's go ahead and get them in their pen here. And then, yeah, they're not wanting to go. So let's get them in. Okay, here we go. So anyway, I had a long day at work today. I had to meet with a client at like 5:30, and I didn't get done until 7:30. So I just got home. It's about 8:45 now, so about an hour ago. But oh well. You know, it's part of the job. It's a busy job. I have a lot of clients and a lot of cases right now, and I don't know if I've talked a lot about my job in the past, but either way, you know, it keeps me pretty busy. Sorry, I keep having to yawn. I don't know how some other LP people do it. Like, you never hear them yawn, you never hear them cough. I wonder if they have a cough or yawn button, or maybe they just don't get as tired. Maybe they record their audio when they have a lot more energy than I apparently have right now, but whatever. I'll try my best not to let it interfere with the quality of the video. Okay, so after getting those sheep in there, next thing I was going to do, oh, what is this? Suspicious blocks in the desert. Wonder what that could be. Well, as you can see there, it's smooth sandstone and just regular sandstone there, but usually sandstone doesn't stick out of the ground, and you certainly wouldn't find sandstone stairs like that. Although this does not look like a desert temple because it certainly doesn't have the... I mean, there's two towers, but I don't see the pyramid thing behind it, except for there's just a giant sandhill. Well, gee, I wonder what it could be. Let's take a look. Well, as you can see here, we've discovered that there is, in fact, some colored clay here, which is, you know, in addition to the blocks, there is your telltale sign of a desert temple. So I went ahead and started excavating it. It's a lot of work, but I think it's worthwhile. So let's see how we're doing here. You know, we're just getting started here. So let's put the sand in this treasure chest I created. A little base here to keep me keep my stuff in. So I'll put all the sand related items in here because I'm going to end up with a lot of sand and sandstone. Now, let's see. I guess what we'll do, make a bunch of shovels, really. Because that's really, most of this is loose sand. Loose sand, of course, being vulnerable to shovel. Sandstone being vulnerable to pickaxe. So, you know, the desert temple shape, for those who don't know, is two frontal towers, you know, which are immediately in front of a cone or a pyramid-shaped middle area that arises directly in the middle, but only slightly higher than the two towers on either side. It's very Egyptian looking, but anyway, I can see the front of the entryway, which is going to line up with the peak of the pyramid shape in the back. Okay, skipping ahead a little bit more, I've done some more excavating, and you know, I've gone through quite a few shovels, and we're making some really good progress here. Now, obviously, you can thank me later for cutting out most of this, but I just really wanted to see the facade of this desert temple, as you can see, taking shape here, before I, you know, explored it and whatnot. So, anyway, we've basically what happened here is we found some evidence of a desert temple, which is really close to my home, and I'm actually surprised I didn't see it earlier. But you know, it's just literally right across the river from my home, and before too long, I was digging it up, and you know, we've got a pretty good recognizable shape forming here, and there's actually a little cave going on down there on the one tower there. So there's the front entrance there, and we definitely want to make room for that. So actually, you know, when I was doing this, I had a thought, you know, how similar this is to one of these movies I used to watch growing up. You know, it's the DuckTales movie, and what happens is they're like wandering around in the desert looking for a place on a map or something. Yeah, and then they one of them trips over a little rock, and then it turns out to be a pyramid underneath. Well, that's kind of what happened here, isn't it? So it wasn't a rock; it was a strange block poking out of the sand, but same principle. You know, so that was a great movie. I remember that movie. I miss it. I haven't seen it forever. I wonder if I can find that online. Anymore these days, there almost every show or movie, somebody finds a way to put it on YouTube or another site that you can stream it or watch it just online. Maybe not the best quality, but you know, good enough to get for free, and it's just great. And there's a creeper. Those I hate creepers. And he blew up some of my pretty sandstone. Oh man, or clay, I mean. Well, let's go ahead and head back up to the top here, and anyway, yeah, so I did lose a couple. No, actually, I think all the clay is still intact there, at least from comparing it to the other side. But, you know, so temples, okay, you go inside. Now, theoretically, there's supposed to be a colored clay block in the middle, and then if you actually stand on it and mine it, you'd fall through and trigger a dynamite trap, which would kill you and blow up the stuff down in the bottom of the temple. But if you do it correctly, you can disarm the trap and collect the treasure. And that's the whole thing. You can also collect some rather unique or a little bit more difficult to get temple blocks, like the clay and smooth sandstone, which takes a little bit of crafting to get on its own. But anyway, there's also some empty room throughout the pyramid which can house mobs, so you want to light it up probably before you go ahead and do that colored sandstone there, or colored brick there. Anyway, here's what I mean from that DuckTales movie. I'm going to show you a little clip from what I mean, what happened here.
According to the map, the cave of Baba should be right here, under the gaze of Mount Badud.
I don't see anything of the Scrooge. Not even a mirage.
Maybe we took the wrong turn at that last sand dune.
Launchpad, can't you even ride a camel without crashing it?
It's not my fault. Humpy here just had a great fall. He must have hit this lousy rock. Ouch! Oh, my tootsie! Ooh.
It looks like a pint-sized pyramid. Rock-a-roody. It's bigger than it looks. I wonder what's inside.
There's only one way to find out, lads. Start digging.
Well, anyway, that's a blast from the past. I don't know about you, but I grew up on those Disney movies, and anyway, fun and apropos comparison to what we're looking at here. And incidentally, just real quick, because I know people have run afoul of these issues on YouTube before. As most of you know, if you have watched this far in, I'm actually a lawyer. And I'm certainly not an expert in copyright law, but I do know enough to know that there's this doctrine called the fair use doctrine, which allows people to basically take other original work and comment on it or use it, make a parody of it, quote it, but not extensively, and just reference it while creating their own substantive content. And that's exactly what I just did. It's clearly a fair use situation. It's not a appropriation of copyrighted material situation. So, you know, but I think some folks probably get paranoid about that, and there are some strict copyright rules sometimes. And of course, I'm speaking about law of the United States. I don't know. I think there are probably treaties that line up pretty closely with that as well, but that's the law that's going to govern my situation here, recording here in the United States. So, anyway, yeah, so I basically dug around and I found a cave under the pyramid. Now, I was thinking, you know, gosh, was this cave here originally? And I have to assume that at least parts of it were, but I also have to assume that parts of it were expanded because, well, as we saw, I think we saw, well, there was a little problem with the TNT that is embedded in Desert Temple, and in this case, that TNT went off prematurely. I didn't even trigger the pressure plate at the bottom; it just went off, and I'm not sure if it was because of something loading there, or a glitch, or a mob spawning, or whatever. I don't even know if mobs can set it off, but whatever. Anyway, the point is that it created a massive explosion that would have had at least, I think, 8 or 9 units of TNT in it. And so, or maybe 4 or 5, I don't remember. But enough to create a pretty big, well, what do you call it? You know, like a cavern, you know, based on the explosion. So anyway, that may explain part of this cave's general layout and shape. But I digress. Normally when you come across desert temples, you can expect to find things like diamonds, saddles, name tags, that sort of thing, on a vanilla instance of Minecraft. So, I am just trying to make my way out here, and I'm pretty close to the surface again here, so I'll just come up here. A little update just while I'm not really doing much on camera here. I'm very excited because I have finally finalized and almost completed tests on my new mod pack that I'm going to be doing the next series with. I'm not sure how far to take this series, to be honest, because I don't really have plans to make this a multi-season, massive Let's Play with tons of, like, clever redstone contraptions, etc. Maybe I will change my mind, and I guess I can always come back to it, but right now I'm not sure. I kind of just want to get all the food and the ingredients to do most everything in the game, like build one of everything kind of a deal. Well, anyway, I think so I'm very excited to get started with that modded version, which is going to just have a lot more options for me. But before I get too caught up in that discussion, let me just show you what I was talking about with the TNT going off prematurely. By the way, I love how chiseled sandstone blocks have little creeper faces on them. I don't know if you ever noticed. Right there. On the side there, they have little creeper faces on them. Not there, but anyway, I think I'm going to go. Well, I thought I was going to show you that. Let me come up around here first, and I'll come back. Okay. And again, this is the same thing as the other side. And I guess I could break out here. You know, part of the problem with this particular exploration of this particular desert temple is that I was so new to the game when I explored it that I didn't realize how mundane parts of it were. But yeah, so you can see down there, massive hole, no treasure, TNT clearly exploded, and there's a massive cavern down there, which we were kind of walking near earlier. And there's your mysterious large chamber sound, of course. These desert temples, by the way, are completely pathetic compared to a real pyramid in Egypt, that is. So anyway, I did a little bit more looking around and so forth, and I wanted to kind of dig in and see if there's any clues as to what happened, but I really can't solve the mystery of why the TNT went off before I even entered the chamber. So that's all I can really do is look around and do my best without knowing the full answer there. Not a whole lot of exciting stuff down in this cave, to be honest. You know, when I first started playing vanilla Minecraft, I enjoyed caving a lot. But, and maybe this is a bad thing, I think it's become somewhat mundane, especially in vanilla. Although the igneous rock additions of andesite, basalt, or not basalt, andesite, diorite, and granite do add a little something, but it's not nearly as much as what most mods would add. And so, anyway, I mean, caving can still be fun, but I think it's more fun when you've got something that you can find. Now, here's the one thing that makes caving fun still in vanilla, and that was this random discovery of a zombie spawner dungeon under the pyramid, pretty much just directly under the pyramid, right near where I was. I started hearing the zombie noise, and I just dug a little, and I found that beautiful moss cobblestone. Yeah, so, I mean, these are great because they make mob spawner systems, you know, loot systems a lot easier because you know exactly what mob's going to be coming out. It can be good for getting a whole bunch of experience. It can be good for getting, obviously there should be treasure with most of these. This one doesn't have any, unfortunately. Not really sure why, but, you know, they're great. And in vanilla Minecraft, they're extremely difficult to find. I mean, you might go a whole game with only finding a handful. So, oh, there's a witch. Witches, you know, I'm sure most of you probably know this, but it's good to kill witches right when you first see them. Their power to kill you increases dramatically the longer the encounter lasts because they throw potions of harming or whatever it is. Yeah, I think potions of harming, which deteriorate your health over time. So you're going to have fewer hearts later in the encounter rather than earlier. And so that's the zombie place. But unfortunately, like I said, there's no treasure chests on this one. I think I will go ahead and take the mossy cobblestone, even though you can craft that now in 1.8. And you couldn't in 1.7. I still like to take it. For one thing, I don't have the ingredients to craft it, vines. And for another thing, it's just kind of cool to be able to say, oh, I got to this dungeon and here's what I have to show for it, you know. As I go, I'm replacing some of the mossy walls with regular walls, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway. So, as I was finishing this one, I came up here, and what do we have? But we have another dungeon. Wow. There's a spider. So anyway, you know, it's pretty unusual to find one dungeon. It's very unusual to find two. And you know, the first thing you want to do when you find one, of course, is generally speaking, disable it. Don't destroy it, but disable it with lights by putting torches near it or anywhere within. I think it's 8 spaces where that are dark enough for a mob to spawn, but I could be wrong. 8 blocks. Something like that. It's a pretty short distance. So I can grab the stuff in the chest. Go ahead and take the chest too. You might as well. It's 8 planks worth of wood. It's twice as efficient, I guess, if you want to think of it this way, as a wood non-plank. But anyway, we're coming to the end of the video shortly. I did grab some of the stained clay there too, as you can see. And I'm going to go back to my home. So you can see how close now on this walk home my base here is from the pyramid. Pretty close. I mean, easily within walking distance, probably about, you know, 10 chunks or so away. So that's really close, and that's really convenient. Especially with those dungeons down there. If I did want to create a mob system, that's like the perfect location for them. So, pretty good luck there. Hopefully you have similar good luck in your LP or your instance of Minecraft. But anyway, it's raining now. Looking back over there, you can see those torches. That's generally where the temple was. Not that huge mound to the left there, but kind of buried on the right side of that huge mound. Anyway, if you've been watching, thank you. And just remember, Professor Snuggles is looking out for you.